Uh, Tell me your name and a little bit about your work.
I'm John Bolenbaugh. I've been making well, it started out, I just was documenting a cover-up, and the biggest cover-up in United States history, and we had 1 million gallons, and I believe it was about 3 million gallons that spilled into our local creek that went into the river, Kalamazoo River, and then went into Lake Michigan. And I seen 40 miles of dead fish, thousands of dead animals. I seen a dump truck full of dead animals once. And I didn't take a picture at the time because I thought, well, this is oil spill. It's the first one I ever worked on. And I figured, well, you know, that's what happens when you have an oil spill. But I had no idea later that they would say it didn't happen, that there was only 36 dead geese and things like that. And that the fish are fine. I just was in shock. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And so when I was seeing this cover up, I just started taking pictures. We were allowed to use text messages, and we could, you know, take a break and text our wife or whatever. And I started taking video and pictures of them planting grass over the oil. And I mean, there was no denying it. It was a cover-up. And I got fired the next day, you know, because I went to the head guy and I said, "You're not going to do this in my community anymore." And you know, I'm gone. It's easy. They just say you're out of there. And so I went and got an attorney and asked him some questions. Because my uncle told me to, I had no idea it was called a whistleblower lawsuit. I started documenting all the cover-up. I went to 1,400 homes door to door to find all the sick people. A lot of the people already moved, already settled, so those are the real sick ones that I still have to find and interview. But I interviewed about 150 people approximately, and it's just crazy. People, their mom died, their sister died, their wife died, their kid died, and they don't know it's from the oil spill because they don't know that these chemicals can do that. We had people life-flighted.
So, can I play devil's advocate a little bit?
Sure, you can.
So, because I've seen some of your videos,
Right.
And man, are you sure when they're putting these nets over it and planting grass? I mean, you're not mistaken?
No. Well, they recleaned it up. Costed about $600 million to redredge and reclean up.
What makes you so sure?
What makes me so sure? Because I have the documents. The documents specifically say that they signed off on all these areas, 3 with the EPA. So you have a Enbridge supervisor that signs off, then you have an EPA supervisor that signs off, and then Enbridge, EPA, DEQ, which is Michigan, then Enbridge and EPA again. They say that it's done, we're restoring it. You don't restore something unless you're done. I mean, and it says 100% clean. And so that's how I can 100% prove it. And it's just logical. You don't plant grass over oil. It's just common sense. I don't even have to be an expert to know that.
Now, tell me about this oil field that's 6 football fields deep. Tell me about that.
Okay, so I have a brother-in-law that works in the oil industry. And we were just all sitting around for Christmas about 4 years ago. And he said, you know, yeah, there was we buried oil in this one place, acting like it was no big deal. And I had testified under oath to this. And it was between, I can't remember if it was 3 or 6 football fields full of oil, but he said it's 6 foot deep. They buried it. There was a spill, and instead of really telling the press about it, they just put dirt over all of it. What they do is when there's spills, they just say it's maintenance. So they don't report 70% of the spills. It's back in some field, and the press is never around, and they get away with it. But in Kalamazoo, Michigan, I mean, for 3 days the spill occurred and no one knew about it except for the residents in the local area were starting to smell it. And I have people saying I smelled it 3 days before they said it happened. And then we have Enbridge looking for oil. I have witnesses saying, hey, there was an Enbridge truck saying they were looking for oil 24 hours before they even said it happened. And so they want to cover these up. They don't want anybody to know about what happens when there's an oil spill.
So what's the connection to the insurance companies in these cover-ups?
And I didn't understand this at first, but it took me a minute. But so in Michigan, they knew there was cracks in the pipe for 5 years. So what they did is they just kept getting extensions. And every time they get an extension, it postpones it 6 months to a year or whatever. And then when there's a spill, which there was, they normally don't tell nobody about it, and they just clean it up, and it's maintenance because it's forcible. They have to fix it at that time. So they squeeze out all the revenue. But when there is a spill, the insurance company hires them to clean up their own mess. So instead of losing $8 million a day in this pipeline to fix it, which takes about 30 to 60, maybe 90 days to fix, instead of losing those few $100 million of lost revenue, all they do is have the insurance company pay them to clean up their own mess. They own the cleanup companies, most of them. They make the cleanup materials, so they profit from that. They buy the property in the whole area. In our case, it was 40 miles of river on both sides. They bought a lot of the property, but they buy it for like 70% of what it's worth. And then later on, 2, 3, 4 years later, they'll say, oh, it's clean. They'll sell it to somebody for 110% now, so they have that 40% profit. And they have you sign off on it saying if you get sick, you can't sue.
So you're not suggesting that this business model is by design.
It is.
You're saying it's designed to fail?
Yes. Yeah. If they went around and fixed all the pipes, the workers would have work for hundreds of years. We would always be working. But what they do is they just let these pipes just get so bad that they have to shut them down. I mean, they don't care about the pipes. They leave them in. When they do eminent domain, you have to pay taxes on that property for the rest of your life for that easement. You can't build a fence on it. You can't build a building on it. You can't plant crops over it. But you have to pay taxes on it for the rest of your life. And if you break it, like let's say you're driving your plow across it for some reason or forget it's there and you break it, you got to pay to fix it. I mean, and then your farm's gone.
So the oil is we're getting it from the soil. What's, I mean, it seemed perfectly harmless, right?
Well, I mean, it was meant to stay in the ground. It wasn't meant to, you know, drink. You can't drink oil. And
is there something they're doing to the oil that's making it more dangerous?
Of course. So let's say tar sand oil. They take this tar and sand in Canada and they process the tar out of it, but there's still particles of sand. So when they put it through the pipe, it's like peanut butter. It's really thick. And they actually can't get it to flow through. So they put all these thinners in it and they heat it up and use high pressure. And the thinners are benzene, toluene, hydrogen sulfide, methane, propane, hexane, all these super toxic chemicals that cause havoc on the environment and our systems when we smell it when there's a spill. And it's very corrosive and it eats away at the inside of the pipe. It eats the welds, and that's why most of the pipeline breaks are at the welds and they just separate.
So why are all these people here at Standing Rock? Why do they feel that it's so important, this cause, to stop this DAPL pipeline here?
Well, I've been doing this 6 years, and I had a vision when all this happened that people would see this footage. I figured I'd be dead by now. I didn't think I'd be around yet, or still. I did a last will and testament. I had a lot of death threats. Slashed tires, cut brakes, got hit over the head once. Bullets taken out of my motorcycle wheel before I testified under oath. I didn't think I'd be around, and you know, I just was getting things prepared so history could use my videos. And I've been waiting for Standing Rock for a long time. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for these people to wake up, to understand what I saw. See, the thing is, people just don't understand until it happens. Yeah, and I saw it. I lived through it. I lived on the river. I was a union member. I worked on the river. I seen the devastation, and I'm a Navy veteran, Bronze Star. You know, I fought for my country, you know, when I was out there. But you know, just because I don't get a paycheck from the government anymore doesn't mean that I'm not fighting for the people in my country now. And people are dying, and I love animals. I love nature, and to see all those dead fish, just pulling them out one by one, just, God, it sickened me. I could be very rich right now if I would have just shut my mouth and documented the oil spill and the cover-up and waited 2 years and they were gone. I would have got 10% of the cleanup after that, which was $600 million. I would have got $60 million. I would be so rich. I could do anything I want for the rest of my life. But then I would die and I would probably go to hell, because I would know those kids got cancer because of me. Maybe I can't help every single person, but maybe I saved 100 lives. Or maybe they lived an extra 30 years. And So I'm just trying to get the word out, and people, there's at least probably 1,000 people that are here because of my videos. I've had hundreds of people come up to me saying, I am here, John, because I saw your videos and it moved me, and this is a revolution, and I am the missing piece. I am what people need to see. The people that don't believe what's going on and why you're at Standing Rock, you have to see my videos so you understand why these people are so passionate about giving their lives to protect Mother Earth. They're putting themselves, they're getting beat up by these police officers. You got beat up by the police officers, you know, and DAPL workers. People are having their hands up saying, I love you, and they're getting shot with rubber bullets, point blank, and coughing up blood. You know, they're spraying mace at people that are swimming, and I mean, I can't imagine if I can't breathe and I'm trying to swim, what's going to happen to me? Somebody's going to die. These police officers in the National Guard, somebody is going to die at the hands of our government, and Obama's letting it happen, and I know Trump's going to let it happen. And we have to do something to stop these pipelines. We have to fix the old pipelines we have. We have to start going to solar and wind. We do not need any new pipelines. The reason why is because 90% of all the new pipelines are 100% for export. It's not for the United States oil. It's not for your car. It is for someone else's car in another country. It's our biggest export in the United States is oil. And I mean, I had people argue with me about it. Get a job. I have a job. You know, I work 16 hours a day, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. I work hard, and I still do this on the side. And I've almost lost my wife for it. She almost left me because this is so stressful on my family. The vacuum started smelling one day, and she called me crying and thinking there's a bomb in the house. This is traumatic. This is really hard what I do. And I just need everybody to just understand that Standing Rock is the right thing. The people that are giving their souls to this is doing the right thing, and I need your support. Please watch my videos. Go to dappleeyes.com or helpa.org, and it's very important. Just go watch just the top video. Send it to, if you know any movie stars, any rich people, send it to them. I just got to get the documentary done. I have not accepted donations for 6 years. That was a rule of mine. For 5 years I was not going to do it. I've been working lately, so I didn't accept any. And now's the time. Standing Rock, they asked me to come out here. They asked me to get this documentary done. The Chiefs have actually asked me for DVDs of this stuff immediately. I need your help. If you can help me financially, or if you're a good editor.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.